All rise. Support court with Judge Vanda is now in session. Judge's case number JVB 2003, Morris case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. All right, Mr. Morris, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, I come to you today, Your Honor, because I'm trying to get my child support reduction.
Okay. All right. Based on what? Like, what's going on?
Well, I currently pay $880 a month for child support.
Okay.
I also pay $362 for health insurance. And I see my kids every maybe like 4 times a week.
Okay.
I see them pretty often, and she's trying to take my kids.
This is where things take a dramatic turn. Mr. Morris isn't just asking for a child support reduction. He's fighting to keep his children from being taken across state lines. His tone shifts. You can hear the fear in his voice. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about control, distance, and heartbreak. And notice how casually he drops the bombshell. She's trying to take my kids and move off to Florida. To him, it sounds like a betrayal. But to the court, the real question is why she wants to leave. Is she fleeing the past? Chasing a better future? Or, as Morris believes, is she simply chasing coconuts and sunshine? But here's what the judge will care about. Is this move in the best interest of the children?
Move off to Florida.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, I'm not going for that.
All right. Did she tell you why she was trying to move to Florida?
Because she just want to live her best life.
She said that?
That's what it is. She want to go to the beach, drink coconut balls, whatever they have out there in Florida, and just have her best life.
Okay.
And there it is, the trigger word. Opportunity. Ms. Adams isn't packing up out of spite. She's pursuing her dream career in marine biology. This is a sudden escape. It's a calculated decision to level up her life. But here's the legal twist. Ambition doesn't always win in family court. Just because a parent lands a better job doesn't mean they get to uproot the kids. The judge has to weigh the career growth of one parent against the emotional stability of the children and their current relationship with the other parent. So while Ms. Adams sees this as a breakthrough, Mr. Morris sees it as a breakdown. A family being pulled apart for a paycheck and a palm tree.
Wait a minute. So did she actually tell you that, or you interpreting her as living her best life?
Your Honor, why would anybody else want to move to Florida? That's Paradise City.
Well, I mean, I kind of want to move too, but I can't go.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I got to work. So could it be for a job?
You know, Your Honor, I haven't asked, because when she told me that she wanted to move to Florida, I got so upset about the fact of losing my kids that I was like, are you moving to Florida for like vacation time, or just so you can live your best life, or because we in Texas, I'm in Texas. I'm a good dad.
So what did she say to that when you said, are you trying to move to Florida to live your best life?
She said, you shouldn't have messed up.
What did you do?
It's a long story, Your Honor. I could tell you how we split up, but I kind of messed up.
Now listen closely, because this is where the emotional stakes skyrocket. Mr. Morris isn't just rattling off a schedule. He's testifying to consistency, presence, and effort. That phrase, I never miss a day, isn't just a calendar update. It's a punch to the gut for any parent fighting to stay relevant in their child's life. In custody battles, courts love reliability. It's not about flashy vacations or expensive gifts. It's about showing up on Wednesdays. It's about being there even when it's inconvenient. And Morris knows that. He's not trying to look like a hero. He's trying to prove he's irreplaceable. But here's the kicker. If Ms. Adams moves to Florida, that midweek bond, gone. Just like that.
Well, I have time. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I didn't even realize you had gum in your mouth till you start smiling. You know, I don't allow gum chewing in here.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Oh, it's okay. You can just put it to your back of your throat. I'm not going to tell you to swallow it. I don't think that's really healthy.
Yes, ma'am.
But I have time for the story when you're ready, after you.
It's to the back right now, Your Honor. No more chewing for me.
Okay.
So,
continue.
Long story short,
And there it is, the emotional pivot. Ms. Adams shifts the narrative from custody to survival. She's not demonizing Mr. Morris. She's pleading for her own oxygen mask. This is a mother waging war. This is a woman drowning in stagnation, grasping at the one opportunity that might pull her out. What makes this moment powerful is that it blurs the lines. Is she selfish or just desperate? Is she abandoning stability or chasing it? This is where the courtroom becomes a pressure cooker. Two truths, both raw, both real, and completely incompatible. And the judge, he's got to sort it all out.
I met this lady our freshman year of college.
Okay.
And we were in class, and she was sitting in the front, I was sitting in the back. And I saw her, and I said, man, I'm going to have to put my bid in as soon as class is over.
Bid, that's what they call it these days. Okay.
we call it put your bid in. Because
All right.
I'm sure it's other people that put their bid in too. So if I got the highest bid, of course I'm going to get her, you know.
Oh, so you subcontracting these things now?
I was, yeah. At that time I was subcontracting, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Right.
Keep going.
So I saw her in the hall and I came to her and my bid won. And we was
This isn't just a defense. It's a man fighting to not be erased. Mr. Morris isn't throwing punches. He's laying out memories, coaching, homework, bedtime stories, moments that are invisible in legal filings but priceless to a father's heart. He knows he's not perfect. He knows the court sees numbers, visitation hours, income brackets. But he's trying to remind everyone that he's not part-time by choice. He's part-time by circumstance. And if this move happens, even those slivers of connection could vanish. This isn't about custody. It's about identity. A father clinging to relevance in a system that too often reduces love to calendar.
together for years, Your Honor. We were together for years. We have 2 kids. We have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Okay.
Throughout the time, and as life just went on, we just started kind of fading, Your Honor. I'm a coach. I'm a football coach at a college.
Okay.
And one of the cheerleading coaches kept hitting on me, and I kept rejecting her.
So you put a bid on her too?
She put the bid on me, Your Honor. Oh. Yeah, she put the bid on me. So.
Now the spotlight shifts, and with it, the pressure. Ms. Adams isn't just defending a dream. She's justifying a disruption. A fresh start in Florida sounds exciting on paper. Marine biology, stable income, ocean air. But in this courtroom, it translates to one thing: distance. What the judge is really asking isn't about the job. It's about the cost. Not in dollars, but in birthdays missed, school plays watched over FaceTime, and a father's hand absent from the sidelines. This is where ambition meets accountability. And the court needs to decide, does a better future for one parent justify a fractured one for children?
I gave in to that bid. She had a high bid. And at the time, my lady, she wasn't putting in no more bids on me. She wasn't cooking me dinner. She wasn't massaging me like she used to. She wouldn't even let me watch sports on Sundays, Johnny, because she wanted to watch The Bachelor. So it just wasn't working. And I gave in to what was going on, and I messed up. She saw my phone. She saw that I was with her a few times, and she left me, Your Honor.
Okay.
She left me.
That was a very colorful story. It's very interesting. I hear the word bid.
She makes a powerful point, and it's not just emotional. Financial stability isn't just a buzzword in court. It's a legal pillar when it comes to custody decisions. Judges are trained to ask, will this move materially benefit the children's lives or just the parent's career? Ms. Adams is trying to prove both, that she's not running away from shared parenting, but running toward a future where her kids have insurance, better schools, and a mother who doesn't have to choose between groceries and gas. But remember, intent isn't everything. Impact is what the court measures. And uprooting 2 young children from the only town and father they've ever known, that carries weight.
Think about someone, trying to do construction on my home. So it's just interesting hearing you use that term referring to relationships. Okay, so you don't want her to move to Florida.
No, ma'am.
All right? And you want your child support reduced as a result if she does move? Or
Well,
do you just want it reduced just because?
I just want it reduced just because.
Okay, got it.
I feel like I know dudes that don't see their kids ever and they not on child support. I see my kids multiple times through the week and I'm paying $880 a month.
Okay. Fair enough. I believe I have majority of what I needed.
Mr. Morris leans into one of the most persuasive arguments in any relocation case: disruption of routine. Judges don't just rule on where a child lives. They rule on how that child lives day to day. Courts give serious weight to the principle of continuity because children thrive on structure. If a move threatens to dismantle that structure, especially without clear gains to offset the cost, it can torpedo a relocation request. But it's not just about school pickups or soccer games. It's about emotional roots. Mr. Morris isn't just challenging her career opportunity. He's framing it as a threat to their children's emotional foundation, and that in a family courtroom can hit harder than any financial spreadsheet.
Okay, is there anything else you wanted me to know before I move over to her?
No, that's about it, Your Honor. That's
Okay.
about it.
All right. Ma'am, and give me your last name.
It's Adams with 2 D's.
Adams with 2 D's, okay. All right, Mrs. Adams, or Miss Adams.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Adams. So tell me about, this story that he told, he actually, you won the bid, or he won the bid.
Well, I think that tells you everything you need to know about his view of relationships. Is very transactional.
Oh, yeah. That's the word I was looking for. That's it, transactional.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
very much I do this and you do that, and I think the fact that he didn't even bother to mention our children's names should tell you everything about our relationship.
Well,
This is a pivotal, emotional shift in the case. Ms. Adams isn't just asking for permission to relocate. She's reframing it as an act of empowerment by saying, Our kids deserve to see their mom succeed. She's elevating the conversation from mere logistics to legacy. That line is calculated and powerful. She's pitching herself not as a mother abandoning her children, but as a role model rising for them. But courts walk a tightrope here. A parent's professional growth matters, but not if it destabilizes the children's well-being. The judge has to decide, does her success story justify the personal cost of kids? This moment draws a clear ideological line. Career versus custody, empowerment versus stability. And now the judge has to find a balance.
He told me the ages.
Yeah, well, that's great. Robert and Madison, that's with a Y.
But she ain't asked for the kid.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Anyway, so going back to, evidently I'm just going to Florida for a permanent vacation. I'm actually going for a job.
All right.
So what's that job?
Robert, and I'm going to be a marine biologist.
So,
That's a good job.
when this dream come apart? Because you ain't had this dream when we met.
See, exactly. Do you ever listen?
Miss
So-
Adams, Miss
sorry.
Adams, I need you to talk directly to me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morris, I've given you an opportunity to speak. Let me hear what she has to say.
This is a trap disguised as mercy. The judge isn't just asking a question. He's probing her priorities. If Ms. Adams says yes, it could signal that her move isn't essential, weakening her case. But if she says no, it might suggest she's prioritizing herself over the children. Either way, her answer could tilt the entire ruling. And here's the strategy behind the bench. Judges often use open-ended hypotheticals to test flexibility, not just facts. They want to see if a parent is co-parenting with adaptability or standing firm out of pride. Ms. Adams is now in a legal vice. Her next words will either paint her as a sacrificing mother or a self-serving one.
You're right,
And
Judge, I'm
people
sorry.
can change dreams. I mean, depending on how long you guys have been apart, a lot could have changed in her life.
It's just she taking my kids, Judge. It's
Okay,
just-
well, let's hear what she has to say.
You're right, you're right.
She said marine biologist, right?
Yes.
That sounds like a really good job, and I want to hear about it. See how much money she makes.
She
all
just
right?
having random dreams, Judge, but it's all
Okay,
good.
that's great, but I need to see how much money she's making.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All
Your
right.
Honor.
Yeah, less talking, more listening.
And you do.
That response was heartfelt, but it wasn't bulletproof. She led with emotion, not legal relevance. Yes, passion matters, but in family court, the golden rule is always best interest of the child, not the best opportunity for the parent. A judge hearing this is thinking, dreams don't raise kids. Stability does. What Ms. Adams needed here was a pivot. Something like, this job offers better pay, flexible hours, and more time with my children. That would have reframed her dream as a benefit to the kids, not just herself. But instead, she left the door wide open for the court to question her motives.
The same thing. All right, now. Continue.
Jesus.
So I'm taking the kids to Florida because I have a greater job opportunity.
Okay.
And, you know, it's so interesting to me that he says that he sees the kids 4 times a week. I guess he's talking about maybe a FaceTime call or seeing them on his phone screen, because I certainly don't see him picking up the kids and taking them to the doctor and cleaning up vomit in the middle of the night. So it's great that he thinks that
And just like that, Mr. Morris drops a line that cuts deep. It's sarcastic, emotional, and, whether intentional or not, strategic. By mocking the Florida move as a fantasy, palm trees and dolphins, he's painting Ms. Adams' decision as selfish and shallow. That framing matters. Because if the judge buys that this isn't about providing a better life for the kids, but about chasing sunshine, it hurts her credibility. But here's where Morris gains real traction. He doesn't say, I want more time. He says, I shouldn't lose time. That's powerful. It reframes him not as greedy, but as protective. Try and preserve something sacred. And that, in custody court, can carry real weight.
that he's paying for the right to see his kids, and that there are people who don't pay child support and who see their kids a whole lot, Judge. That tells you everything you need to know about the transactional nature of relationships to Mr. Morris. So, look, the fact of the matter is,
Ms. Adams plays a tactical card here. Compromise. By offering to split the airfare, she's signaling to the judge that she's not trying to alienate Mr. Morris, just relocate. But this move is layered, because while it sounds fair, it also quietly shifts the logistical burden onto Mr. Morris. Let's be honest, coordinating long-distance visitation with shared flights, school schedules, and work demands is a nightmare. So yes, she's offering a solution, but one that assumes it can afford both the cost and the chaos. And that's where her strategy may backfire. To the judge, this might seem like she's technically being cooperative, but practically making co-parenting much harder.
I guess he doesn't realize that his children are going to need to eat, whether they live in Texas or they live in Florida. And
That's true.
And they're going to need new tennis shoes and new clothes. And I guess he just thinks that money goes on trees, or that kids just eat for free. It's not how it works. This isn't TGI Fridays. So the cost of living is going to be higher in Florida.
All right, what are we looking at?
So my rent is going up from...
That line hits like a hammer. Mr. Morris isn't just challenging her move. He's reframing the entire situation as selfishness cloaked in ambition. To him, her career isn't just a relocation. It's a removal. One that leaves their children caught between a parent who's chasing opportunity and one left cleaning up the emotional fallout. This moment isn't about money. It's about sacrifice. He's implying that while she's following her dreams, he's the one expected to compromise his time, his bond, his stability. This taps into something raw. Because in court, best interest of the child isn't just a phrase. It's a moral battleground. And Mr. Morris just planted his flag.
From $2,000 a month to $2,800 a month.
Okay.
Because I have to have a 3-bedroom because Robert and Madison need their own bedrooms. And of course, I have to pay for flood insurance and other things like that.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned food.
Yeah, so the kids eat organic.
Okay.
And now the gloves come off. Ms. Adams pushes back, not with bitterness, but with receipts. She's not abandoning her kids. She says she's built her life around them. Flexible hours, split holidays, countless sacrifices that never make it into custody paperwork. In this moment, she reclaims a narrative. She's not an opportunist. She's a mother with ambition, who also happens to be exhausted from bending over backwards. Her voice cracks slightly, but her message is clear. You can't weaponize sacrifice in court when both parents are bleeding from it. This isn't a custody battle. It's a credibility war. And Ms. Adams is making sure the judge sees every invisible burden she's carried.
And they're vegan. And so my grocery bill for them is already close to $800 a month.
Okay.
So his opinion that $880 is too much for the kids is wrong. It is a wrong opinion, because your children deserve the nutrition they need to grow up big and healthy and strong so they can be college athletes like you want them to.
Okay, so Miss Adams, you said that your rent is going up $800.
Yeah.
You have to pay flood insurance. The children's diet, they eat organic.
And there it is, the line that slices through courtroom like a blade. Mr. Morris doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. He weaponizes reason. And in front of the judge, that restraint hits harder than anger ever could. To him, this isn't a relocation. It's an ambush. An attempt to sever bonds by zip code, then mask it with career talk and sunshine. From his tone, it's clear. He's not just fighting for custody. He's fighting to not be erased. His calmness isn't peace. It's pressure bottled tight. And now, the judge must decide, is Florida a fresh start or a quiet goodbye in disguise?
Food, and they're vegan. Okay, so are you using the child support for flood insurance and rent too, or are you using it to feed the kids? I just want to make sure I'm clear on what it is that you're saying in regards to his request to get a reduction.
Yes, Your Honor. So the thing is that if I was living in a 1-bedroom because I was by myself, my rent would be a lot lower.
All right.
But I have to get a 3-bedroom because I have a boy and a girl, and I don't want them sleeping in the same bedroom.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I have to...
Ms. Adams doesn't flinch. In fact, her voice breaks, but it's not weakness. It's conviction. She paints a picture not of escape, but of elevation, cleaner air, calmer seas, a stable job, far from the ashes of a broken marriage. She's not running from him. She's reaching towards something better. But here's the twist. In family court, better isn't always black and white. Is better a coastal job with dolphins or a father's hand on his child's shoulder every weekend? This is the quiet war parents wage when love dies, but duty lives on. And right now, the judge is staring down 2 versions of best, both impossible to fully grant.
To get a 3-bedroom, and so it's not just that, it's my electric bill, it's cell phones, because our 5-year-old has a cell phone, so now I have to make sure that we've got her a phone line so you can talk to her dad so he can see her 4 times a week on FaceTime.
So about that, he said that he sees the children now 4 times a week, and you're saying that's not true, except for like a FaceTime video or something like that.
He sees the kids on an inconsistent basis.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Okay. So when you say inconsistent, right now, do you all operate under a standard order where it's like first, third, and fifth?
He has every weekend, and I have during the week.
Okay, so
This isn't just skepticism. It's the voice of a man who's seen promises unravel before. Mr. Morris isn't just questioning her plan. He's poking holes in a future he's not part of. It's a fear every co-parent carries. That one bold move will quietly rewrite the family's foundation forever. To him, this isn't relocation. It's slow erasure. But underneath the frustration is something more vulnerable. A man terrified that he'll one day become a footnote in his children's story. And the court must now weigh dreams against roots, ambition against access.
every weekend he has.
Right.
Okay. During that every weekend, it's inconsistent, is what you're saying?
I mean, it's just all over the place. He just comes and goes and sees the kids whenever it's convenient to him, or maybe his girlfriend like turns him down for a date or whatever.
Okay, so that was petty.
What girlfriend you talking about?
We didn't have to go there. We didn't have to go there. So is that what the issue is? Like, you're still mad?
This is the moment her vulnerability finally breaks the surface. She isn't weaponizing ambition. She's wielding it as survival. To the court, her question isn't just rhetorical, it's foundational. Can a parent pursue healing without being accused of abandonment? Ms. Adams isn't chasing a fantasy. She's begging for a shot of fulfillment that doesn't come at the cost of motherhood. But here's the cruel balance. The law must decide whether self-recovery justifies possible separation. Her voice may tremble with hope, but in this courtroom, even hope gets cross-examined.
At him about that story that he told?
Well, okay, so he put in a bid for an upgrade, or the upgrade put in a bid for him or whatever, and now I have to explain to our son why our family fell apart.
Oh, so it's some hurt feelings there. Okay, I understand. So, have you already moved to Florida, or is this something that you're intending on doing pretty soon?
Well, I took the job offer and I've already found an
So
apartment.
the answer is yes. You pretty much already...
Everything but the U-Haul, Your Honor.
Okay. So in your court order, do you have a geographic restriction because Dad lives here?
Yes, but he moved just outside of Ellis County, so he's just outside of the geographic restriction, so it's technically lifted, Your Honor.
Okay. And technically is what you said, but is that what your court order says?
Well, the court order says Dallas and contiguous counties, and he moved like a mile on the other side.
The judge's side says more than any ruling ever could. This isn't just a legal dilemma. It's a human collision. 2 lives, 2 futures, 1 irreversible decision. For now, the courtroom goes still, but the air is thick with everything unsaid, regret, resolve, resentment. Neither side truly wins here. What the court grants in logic, it often costs in love. And during this pause, the weight of what's coming next settles like dust over broken promises. Because after the recess, someone's heart will be ruled against.
Side of the Ellis County line.
Okay, and I do have a copy of your court order here, and it doesn't mention that it's automatically lifted.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking it was the one that.
O is right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
O
Thank
is
you.
right. What?
I'm sorry.
O is right, because you can't just leave. You can't just do that. You actually have to.
When the gavel returns, so does reality. And with it, the decision that will redraw the map of a family. The judge's voice is steady. But behind that tone is the gravity of tearing a father from bedtime stories, or denying a mother her career rebirth. This isn't just a verdict. It's a ripple that will echo through birthdays, holidays, and late-night calls that end with, "I miss you." The court's job is to decide what's best for children. But in doing so, it breaks 2 adults in very different ways. And when that ruling lands, it won't just end the case. It will redefine what family means for everyone in that room.
Ask permission to modify this order like he did.
Well, can I modify the order to move to Florida?
Did you file anything for today?
I mean,
It's a yes or no.
No.
Okay. So you're moving without asking the court, can you move? And Dad is still living here.
Well, I guess I just didn't understand the way the order was written, because I had heard that if he moved outside of where it said, then I could move out.
Who did you hear that from? Did you Google? You did one of those Google searches? One of the Google lawyers told you that?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. Because they told you wrong, and that's the problem with Googling everything. You should have actually consulted with an attorney who would have interpreted this order properly to you. You can't just move. So let me tell you what we're going to do, because I think this is the fair thing to do. Regardless to whether you say his visits are inconsistent, he say they're consistent, the reality of it is when you move to Florida, he can no longer have access to those kids. So even if he were coming this day, and did every weekend, he won't be able to do that anymore now that you are going to move to Florida. So what I'm not...
And just like that, it's over. The ruling is made. The court file is closed. But the wounds, they're just beginning to open. Mr. Morris sits frozen, not because he didn't expect the outcome, but because he knows what it truly costs. Ms. Adams, though victorious, carries a weight few will understand. She may have won permission to move, but at what price to her children's roots? There are no villains here. Only two people who once built a life together, now fighting over the remains. This isn't just a child support case. It's the quiet unraveling of a dream. And in family court, justice doesn't feel like justice. It just feels like survival.
Going to touch is your custody arrangement. Not going to touch that at all. This is a child support court. That has nothing to do with us, okay? So I'm not going to touch it at all. You are free to move to Florida. However, he's coming off child support. So then he can use the money, the $880 or so that he would give you for child support. He can use that to travel to actually see the kids.
But what if he doesn't, Your Honor?
Well, if he doesn't, then after some time of him not doing it consistently, and when I say consistently and consecutively, it needs to at least be about 6 months or something like that, right? Then you can come back and let me know, Judge, he's not exercising regularly. I need some support for these two kids, right? But absent anything like that, I believe that's in the best interest of the children. And quite frankly, that's fair. You're moving without permission, right? Which is a violation of your court order. So it's only fair that he stops paying child support. So beyond a reduction, he's coming off child support today. Now you will have to keep maintaining the health insurance, okay?
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, so that, what is it, 362?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll still continue to pay the health insurance, but there will be no child support paid from him to you. Hopefully you guys can come to an agreement.
That's the plan, Your Honor. Once we leave, I plan on giving her a call so we can try to talk about things and kind of get on a good level with each other.
Yeah, I think that can work. And who knows, your job may transfer up here and you may end up being back in Dallas anyway. Now, if that happens, you all would need to come back, because then we need to look at something different about what child support is going to be. But until then, you know, enjoy Florida. All right, is there anything further?
No?
Thank you, Your Honor, for everything. You really made a big change in my life, and I'm glad we came to your court today.
All right, well, you're very welcome. And if there is nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.